Hunger remains one of the most pressing global challenges today. Despite the world producing enough food to feed everyone, millions still struggle to access adequate nutrition. This highlights a serious imbalance in how food is distributed and accessed across different communities.
In 2015, the United Nations introduced the Sustainable Development Goals, a global blueprint to achieve a more sustainable and equitable future. One of these goals focuses on ending hunger and ensuring food security for all.
Ni ada stok tu kan?
Tak ada dah.
Tak ada stok.
Habis
dah.
Telur pun tak ada.
Telur pun tak ada.
Ada beras.
Makan apa?
Saja.
Food is one of the most basic human needs, yet hunger remains a global challenge. Around the world, millions of people still struggle to access enough nutritious food every day. In response to global challenges like hunger and poverty, the United Nations introduced the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, a global blueprint for a more sustainable and equitable future. One of these goals is Sustainable Development Goal 2, Zero Hunger. This goal aims to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture by the year 2030. Although Malaysia is considered an upper-middle-income country with a relatively stable food supply, food inequality still exists.
The challenge is not only about producing enough food, it is also about ensuring that food resources are distributed fairly and that every community has equal access to nutritious food.
Malaysia is often seen as a country with stable food supply. However, despite having enough food at a national level, it does not always mean everyone has equal access to it.
Based on Malaysia's recent SDG indicators, some regions perform better, while some others still face significant challenges in nutrition. These disparities are linked through uneven distribution of food aid, the gap between small-scale farmers and large agricultural industries, also the differences between rural and urban communities.
Indicators such as child stunting and wasting reveal whether children have the right amount of nutrients.
Stunting reflects long-term nutritional deficiency, while wasting indicates more severe short-term malnutrition.
In Malaysia, approximately 3.28 million households belong to the B40 income group, earning 5,351 ringgit or less per month. Yet, they account for only about 16.7% of the nation's total income.
Adakah Encik menyedari sebarang perubahan harga barang makanan kebelakangan ini dan bagaimanakah perkara tersebut mempengaruhi perbelanjaan harian Encik?
Ya, saya telah perasan kenaikan harga barangan makanan dan sebab itu saya telah terpaksa memilih barangan makanan alternatif untuk tidak melebihi bajet bulanan.
This shows how economic inequality directly affects food access and nutrition. Geographical inequality also plays a major role in food access across Malaysia. The poverty rate in Sabah, for example, remains among the highest in the country at around 17.7% compared to the national average of about 5.1%. In regions such as Sabah and Sarawak, rural communities often face transportation challenges and limited access to markets. These barriers can make food supplies more expensive and harder to obtain.
Bagi saya, tidak semua golongan masyarakat dapat ambil makanan yang berhasiat sebab sekarang ni ada orang yang ada lower income kan. So makanan yang organik pun agak mahal untuk kita jadikan sebagai makanan yang harian. So tidak semua golongan masyarakat bagi saya akan dapat jadikan makanan berhasiat tu sebagai mereka punya rutin harian.
Social inequality also influence food access. Vulnerable communities, including the indigenous population known as the Orang Asli, often face greater challenges in obtaining nutritious food. Studies have shown that over 80% of Orang Asli households experience some level of food insecurity.
Ya, terima kasih lagi Ni. Ni untuk kasih ni kan.
While these initiatives provide important assistance, long-term solutions are still needed. Addressing food inequality requires stronger food distribution systems, better support for vulnerable communities, and inclusive policies that ensure everyone has access to nutritious food. Only then can Malaysia move closer to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 2 Zero Hunger, a future where no one goes hungry.
Many small-scale farmers produce staple crops such as rice, yet they face limited access to land, technology, and financial support. Meanwhile, large agriculture plantations dominate land use and resources. This creates a clear inequality in food production.
Large-scale farms often use modern machinery, advanced systems, and is financially supported. This allows them to produce food in better quality and larger amount. On the other hand, small-scale farms still rely on traditional methods. They may not have fertilizer, machine, or proper irrigation system. Because of this, their productivity is much lower.
Do you think that small farmers nowadays, they receive enough support?
I don't think so, because I feel that small farmers are not exposed to the outside world, and these days people are more exposed in social medias and stuff. So there are still small farmers who are not viable to all of these resources that are available. Plus, I feel that they are not considered by the government as well. So yeah, I totally disagree that I don't think they are supported. Yeah.
When food production is unequal, it can lead to malnutrition, especially in poorer communities. Children may suffer from stunting, where they don't grow properly due to lack of nutrients. Small farmers are also more vulnerable to climate change. Events like floods, droughts, and crop diseases can easily destroy their farms. Unlike large plantations, they often don't have insurance or backup resources. This makes it harder for them to recover and continue producing food.
I'm quite surprised that when I give it to her, I said, 我有留沙包可以请你吃吗? The first reaction was, 你怎么知道我很饿? And that really caught my attention.
Inequality in access and food production is not just an economic issue. It affects real lives every day. One major consequence is food insecurity. While some communities have more than enough, while others, especially in rural and low-income areas, still struggle just to get their next meal. This gap creates deep inequalities in nutrition. Over time, this leads to malnutrition, especially amongst children. Some suffer from stunting, affecting their growth, while others lack essential nutrients. These challenges affect both their present and future, and at the same time, many small farmers are trapped in a poverty cycle. With limited resources, they earn too little to improve their lives. So the cycle continues: low income, low production, and limited access to nutritious food. This is why inequality matters, because it affects health, opportunities, and the future of entire communities.
In Malaysia, efforts to achieve zero hunger are already underway, focusing on food access and sustainability. One example is Menu Rahmah, which provides affordable meals for low-income groups.
What initiative do you think that exists in Malaysia to help people access food? In my opinion, I think initiatives like Food Bank Malaysia, they already distribute food to people who in need.
These initiatives, including food banks, help distribute food to those in need across the country.
What do you think can we as Malaysians do to reduce food inequality? For me, Malaysians can reduce inequality by supporting food donation programs or maybe reducing food waste. And the last one, I think this one should be prioritized, whereas Malaysians should raising awareness about helping vulnerable communities.
In addition, efforts like sustainable farming and reducing food waste are helping improve the overall food system. While progress is being made, continued efforts are still needed to achieve zero hunger.
In comparison, according to the 2025 Global Hunger Index, Malaysia scores 13.6 and is under the ranking 68, while Indonesia scores 14.6 and is under the ranking of 17. Both countries fell under a moderate level of hunger.
Zero hunger remains as a challenge to be achieved by improving food access to everyone.
In the end, the issue of hunger is not just a global challenge, but a reality that still exists within Malaysia. As we have seen, the problem is not simply about how much food is available, but about inequality, in access, in production, and in opportunity. From low-income families struggling to afford nutritious meals to small-scale farmers facing limited resources, these gaps continue to shape who gets to eat and who is left behind. Although efforts such as food aid programs and sustainable farming initiatives are making progress, they alone are not enough. Achieving zero hunger means fair access for all, supporting communities, and ensuring food as a basic human right. There's no one should be left behind.